I sent in 2 comics to the Neil Gaiman signing at CGC. Well, the books are back. It's time to open this up and see what grades we got. Welcome back, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and today we've got a CGC unboxing for you. We've got 2 books that I sent in to Neil Gaiman's signing at CGC, and it's been a while since I sent them in, but they did the signing and I got the books back. Pretty excited about this because one of the books that I sent was a book that had already been previously graded. It's a great book. So I'm hoping to retain that 9.8 that I had on there. So fingers crossed on that one. The other one was just a separate book that he is very well known for. And if you saw the intro graphics, you know which books I'm talking about. But we'll do the reveal, we'll open it up and everything. But before I get into that, definitely hit that like button, slap to subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of my episodes that I put out each and every week, Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. All right, guys. Let's get into this box. All right, guys, here's the box. Here's Green Deadly. Let's get into this box and let's see how we did. So I can't tell you how long it was since I sent this in, because when I saw that he was having a signing, Neil Gaiman was having a signing at CGC, I went ahead and found a couple of the books I wanted to send in. And as I said, one of them was a graded book that I already had in my PC. So I was going to let CGC obviously open that up and crack that open and get that signature, and hopefully it's going to retain the grade. I had a 9.8 on that book. But the other one was just a separate book. You saw my graphic at the beginning. You know which book I'm talking about. We'll get into that and which book why I chose these books. So let's just cut this open. Let's see how we did. Now, this is, again, 2 books. It's a smaller, fragile box. We open it up. I'll show you the inside. It's nice and bubble wrapped right here. Usually they'll have it bubble wrapped with the books between the cardboard and a couple boards on about each side. Another rubber band for the collection. And let's just see, I'm going to do them backwards because, again, I don't know what the grades are on this. I know what the books are. But let's see. Yeah, let's start with the one that I had graded, and I know what the grade was. So let's pull that open. I'm going to take it out of the bag. As you notice, I am not looking because I didn't look this up online. I didn't cheat. The only thing I did was kept looking back to see if it was being graded, when it was being graded, and then, of course, when it was shipped and what was the shipping date. So I was lucky. I was going to work this morning, and luckily my wife wasn't here when, well, that sounds awful the way I just phrased that. FedEx showed up while my wife was away, but I was still here. I'm saying I'm lucky I was here. Otherwise, we would have had to wait to get the books in later. Unfortunately, it was right before I had to head to work, so I couldn't open up this box and open up this and do the show, of course. But here we are now after work, and I'm sitting here, and here we go. As you can see, it is Spawn number 9. This is the first appearance of Angela, and the Neil Gaiman written book here, his creation, and wonderful Todd McFarlane art. Just a classic. And as I said, I had a 9.8 on this and kept it for the PC. I wasn't interested in reselling it. And then when they announced that they were having the Neil Gaiman signing, there were a couple books I was thinking about that I actually had in my PC. And I had this, and I'm going, okay, this is a really good book to get signed. If they do another Todd McFarlane signing, then I will add this to that. But let's do the grade reveal, and I'm holding my fingers. I've had good success sending in books that have already been previously graded and signed via CGC. Let's see if the streak continues. Yeah, there we go. We kept that 9.8 on this book. I don't know what the value on this is. I wasn't really interested in reselling it. I'd like to keep some of these in my PC. And it was it's been a while since, and I don't remember what exactly I paid for the signing, but it wasn't cheap. I mean, I only did 2 books. It was adding up and everything. So I only did 2 books, and both books, be honest, this one is definitely the one I was wanting to keep for the PC. And down the road, as I said, if Todd McFarlane does another signing with CGC, I'll send this back in. And yeah, that's really nice. Let's take a quick look at this. Now, I didn't ask for placement of the autograph or anything. Of course, I couldn't make a window bag for this with a signing area and everything. It was already slabbed. It was a blue label, 9.8. But as you can see, here, let me get it out of the light. You can see where my fingers are pointing. He signed it in red right up there. It pops right off of that white background. Yeah, that's really nice. Now, this copy of Spawn number 9 was not my original one. The one I had my original collection, I had sent in to CGC early on after I had started learning how to clean and press my books. And I knew that this book, my original copy, would not get a 9.8. But at the time, a couple years ago, it was a lot more valuable book at a 9.6. And I felt like it was an early success in my cleaning and pressing experience, and because it did have a little bit of a bend in the lower left hand corner on this back cover, and as you can see, it is a very black Mike Grail cover here, back cover, and down here where my finger's pointing, there was a little bit of a crease, and I ended up getting it out, but it had a little bit of, there was a little wear around that corner, and it knocked it down to a 9.6, but I felt like it was I felt at the time it was a really good success on my part. Now, I still have that 9.6 on my PC, and I probably will sell it at this point. Although I may just hold on to it until we get some more news about Spawn in actually another live action film or anything like that. Market, again, is very down right now. It's probably not the best time to try to sell a lot of stuff. And that's something that I can see coming back in value, even at a 9.6. But 9.8 on this, couldn't be better. That is fantastic. So let's set this here. Let's set this back here so you guys can still, so you can still see it. Wait a minute. There we go. All right. So the other book, as you could see from the graphics at the beginning of the show, was a Sandman number 1. Now, I never had the original Sandman number 1. I had issues during that run, but I was not a big fan of the book, to be honest with you. Maybe it was just too sophisticated for me at the time, but I did enjoy some of the cover art. I didn't particularly enjoy the interior as much, but interesting book, but I never had any of the early issues. So when you think of Neil Gaiman in comics, that is definitely one of the top books you would probably think about getting signed by him. Well, I didn't have it at the time, but it was funny, about a week or 2 before the signing, I ended up winning a copy of Sandman number 1 from TBC Comics down in Crofton, Maryland, off of their Whatnot show. And my intention was, because they described it so well, it was a really good copy, and I felt I got it at a good price, I was going to send it in. Well, I got it, and the front cover was fantastic, but I turned to on the back cover, and it wasn't like it had spine ticks, but the yellowing and the aging on the book was something I was a little taken aback about. It didn't look right, and the last thing I wanted to do was send that book in and get a low grade, even with a Neil Gaiman signing. It's just, I felt like I was spending a lot of money on it, that I wanted to get a more pristine copy signed. But I didn't have a Sandman number 1 that I could get signed. Original Sandman number 1. But what I did have, because it had come out recently over this last year, was this here. It is a facsimile reprint of issue number 1. And I had a couple of these sitting around, and I thought, okay, just like the Rob Liefeld signing that I got back in the couple episodes prior, I did a facsimile of New Mutants number 98. And it came out beautiful. And it's a 9.8. It presents beautifully. And it's something I'll keep in my PC, even though it's not the original copy. Same goes with this right here. I felt like a pristine reprint copy, a facsimile reprint of this would be a perfect thing to get signed in lieu of having the original #1 or a really good copy of that #1. So this is what I sent in as the second comic. I don't know the grade. Let's just do the reveal and get it over with. Awesome. That's just perfect and everything. And now, of course, that it'll never be as valuable as the #1 at that kind of grade, of course. But anybody who follows this channel knows that I'm a big fan of these facsimile reprints. And it's not that I'm trying to replace the original in the sense that I know it's not going to be as valuable, but in its own right, it has a lot of value, just like every comic has a lot of value, especially high grade, graded, signed by one of the best writers in the world. And by the way, let's just take a look at that real quick. We've got it. He signed it in silver right down there. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my goodness, that is awesome. Now, I don't know. I didn't look this up before the video because I didn't know what the grade was. I guess I could have done the research ahead of time for a couple different grades. But I would still say, even with as a facsimile reprint with that signature 9.8, I still think this is probably worth what? What do you guys think? $200, $300, something like that? I don't know. What would you think? That's something, guys, you can leave me a comment in the comment section and let me know, what do you think this would be worth? Because I don't know how many of these are actually signed and are on the census at this point. Again, it's a facsimile. It's not the original, so maybe there's not a lot of them out there. I would imagine after the signing, there's probably going to be a few more of these floating around for sure. But that's it, guys. I had 2 books for today for this unboxing. It's going to be a short episode, but as I said, leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about both of these books. I mean, I'm especially happy with this right here, getting 9.8 on the Spawn #9. And again, we'll save this for the Todd McFarlane signing, another signing if they ever get around to it again. I mean, I'm sure that I know that the first signing was a huge success, and we've seen other artists do over the last year have done multiple signings at CGC. I think Jim Lee has a second signing coming up. Definitely, I bet you, they made so much money the first time, I bet you they'll do another Todd McFarlane signing probably within the next year. So we'll send that in and try to get both of them on there. And that'll, if we retain that grade, that'll be a really nice high-price premium to keep in the PC. But leave me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what you think about that. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for joining me. If you're ever interested, though, in anything I show on the channel, definitely just reach out to me at collectorauctions@yahoo.com or DM me on my Instagram account. You can also check out what I currently have for sale on my eBay store and on my Shortbox page. I got links below in the description. So that's it. I'm out of here, guys. You have a great day. And remember, every comic has a story.